Well, my name is Larry Jacobs, and now where do I start? But I'll start in the beginning in some way. I've been working in our company. Our company is a manufacturer of buttons. We've been making buttons since 1928, so we're 87 years old. I've been with the company. In December, started my 61st year working for the company. I commute into Manhattan, and we do most of our business because of the economic changes in Asia, and I make trips there continually. And we opened an office in Hong Kong 38 years ago, and I've been back and forth from Kennedy to Hong Kong 92 times. And I still do that, and in a few months I hope to be back again because I have more work. We also expanded into New Delhi, India, because you have to be in a country where there's over 1 billion people, and we've done that. Now, I've been married a long time. My wife is a stone sculptress, as you can see around the house here. It's a lot of rocks and stones, but it's mostly out of material called alabaster, because if you sculpt with granite or marble, it's more carcinogenic. So alabaster is not, and that's available in many colors and finishes and so forth. So my wife's been doing this about 30 years. So we collected in the house rocks, as I call it. I also have hobbies. For instance, I do parasailing. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I do it in my place where I go to when I have time in the Florida Keys, because the view from 700-800 feet is very unusual. I also have an old car where I go to shows and drive it. I have a 1928 Ford Phaeton. It's a four-door convertible, and Ford had made the A models in 1928, and I got that one. He first made it. The door has no handles or windows, but that's what he did. Before that, he made the Model T, which was only in black. He made black fenders on all of them, and you can get at that time colored body paint. In this area, I was president for 4 years of our homeowners association, and I did some changes, like, for instance, our roads, which was 4.5 miles of roads in this community, were not paved. It was oil and stone. And in the winter time, after the winter, we had potholes all over, so a big project I had was to pave the roads here with asphalt. And we also have a very unusual community, and I'm active in this community, because our community has us guys are responsible for the plowing of the snow, the roads, maintaining a beach which we have, which is part of our deed. It's 10 acres of beach with a beach house which was built by the architect who's gone now, who built West Point. His name is Stanford White. So I'm active in that way in our community. I'm also active, and my message is very clear. I'm basically active in social action. And I was involved with an organization called FEGS, which fed 200 people on Long Island. But today they closed down for various reasons. And now I'm with another group which is called Hatzilu, which is a Hebrew word, and it means to help. And I plan to be hopefully on their executive board in a few weeks, or a few months actually. And they feed hundreds of people and help them with various aspects of their lives, because a very, very, very high percentage of our population is on food stamps. And the figures I had gotten from the Commerce Department was like 48%, and I could hardly believe that. So people who have need, we help out. Our temple, which I'm a member of and on the board of the temple. The temple isn't in this area, it's 10 miles from here, but I was a founder of that temple. I'm not religious, but I like to go because there are people that we can help on the social action program. And the board is not a combat zone. It really is good people, and we try to do the best, and the temple is growing. We had gained in these few weeks 10 members additional and 30 some odd members last year additional. We have a membership of about 300 families. So I'm active on that, and I'm more active hopefully in social action. My message is simple. Do the best that you can to help people who have need. And people are hungry not only at Christmas or New Year's, they're hungry every day. So you have to be involved in helping out and doing things for these people and so forth, and in filling a need. At Thanksgiving, I buy 100 turkeys and they distribute it. But the best charity is impossible to reach, which is to try to create a situation where no one has to ask for charity. And that is not possible, but that's the goal. Now, my wife is my whole life, and my kids are right behind her, of course, and she's very talented and very good, and every evening I come home, she's at the front door waiting for me. I give her a hug and a kiss, and I ask her, have a good day. This has been going on for a long, long time. Every evening I come home, I cook dinner. I cook dinner because it's easy to do, and I enjoy it, and so forth. And my wife is starting to expect it, so that's what I'm doing. And as I told you once before, she said to me, I'm still working. So I asked her about retirements, and she tells me the following. She says, our marriage agreement says love, honor, obey, etc. And she says, it says nothing about lunch. So I'm in the office eating lunch, so I'm working every day. But that's what we do. And our relationship goes back to high school. And I like to tell you that story because I tell it so often. I'm in high school, same high school as her, which is on the island here. And someone stops me in the hallway and says, I'm making a party Saturday night. Would you like to come? I said, yes. So she says, yeah, but you got to bring a date. I said, I'm on a ball team, I'm on a track team in high school. I don't have dates, and so forth. So she says, well, if you want to come, you have to bring a date. My wife was a friend of my sister's who I knew a little bit, but who pays attention to your sister's friends? So I called her on the phone and I told her, this person's having a party Saturday night and I can't go unless I have a date. Will you go with me? She said, okay. I pick her up and her father says to me, well, you bring her home by 11 o'clock, which I did at the front door. All I did is shake her hand, said goodnight, and I went home. I lived 1.5 miles away, but I would run a lot in the streets to go home. I go home and then I find out way after that her mother asked her Sunday morning, did you have a good time at the party, as a mother would do. So she said to her mother, yes, it's okay, but that's the boy I'm going to marry. And here I am.
There you go. That's lovely. Video. We've been taking. It's just rolling. This is good.
This is the real thing?
I would like to speak about my other important thing is that my daughter Carrie is a doctor of psychology in Philadelphia, and she started to treat young gays and lesbians, and then she opened in okay, Philly, a townhouse thing, where she treats gays and lesbians from high school and college and so forth. And she has become the largest of its kind in America. She has already treated and worked with over 17,000 youths, and that's a lot of people. And she still runs it. She's the founder of the organization called The Attic, which you can check out on the internet, and the president of the organization. And she founded it over 21 years ago, and she had a gala in Philly, which she celebrated her 20th anniversary of being in that business. And she had at dinner in the big hall in Philadelphia 675 people. And when my wife had come in and saw all this, she started crying because they were honoring what she did and her. And she lectures in most of the colleges in the Philly area, and sometimes in Europe and so forth. And she has testified in front of Congress and so forth. So she's famous, and what's important to me is that in her way, she gives back to society, and she gives back in a big way. And my three daughters, I have three. One is sick, and the other handles her. And the three daughters are very close. They're very close. They'll do anything for each other, and that's a blessing as well. So I'm very proud of her accomplishments and what she has done and accomplished. And she lives in Wayne, PA, which is outside of Valley Forge. Also, I'm very patriotic. I always have a flag outside my door because, this country has given immigrants, people, a opportunity to create a life. I have the same message constantly. Every time I speak to people, the point happens to be is to do unto others as to the best of one's ability. If you give $5, $10, $1, it's okay. And then in our company in Connecticut, where we make our buttons, it's the only company that we have in America that makes the buttons. That's because we've been supplying the U.S. military since 1941. We have a program for our workers, which is, I think, unusual. If a worker wants to take a course at the local college that helps his job, we will fund that course. But if he wants to take a course only in computers, we will also fund it. So you don't have to ask his young kids how to run a computer. And many of the people do. But the only requirement I have for that is that you get at least a C in the course and you attend 10 classes. And then I have a program where the people themselves contribute to a fund which is from their salary, either $1 a week, $2 a week, and so forth. And that money is put into a fund, and the company matches what they collect. And they are the people who then handle that for people who have problems in buying oil or eating or something like that, that are employees of our company. But management isn't involved in that type of decision. All we do is match the funds, and they manage it, and they give the people a grant or they loan it to the people at no interest, but it's their way of operating, and in that way it benefits our people. I have a woman who's working in our company, and in a few weeks she will be working 60 years in our company. And she's still she started at 16, and she's still the most active, fastest person around. It's really, it's amazing. So what we're making is a dinner for her and her friends and so forth in about a month. We get that done. But what's important is the quality of our people. What's important is their well-being, and there are people in our factory whose grandfather had worked in the factory, the father had worked, and now the child is working, the grandson is working, because it's a small town, and this is buttons we make in America, and I try to push that with companies who are saying on their apparel that it's made in America. So I want them to buy American goods too. But so the real goal is of me is to do for others, and food is important, health is important, and I get involved in many issues like that, but it's not for talking about it as having the honor of doing it. It's a matter of, if you got to be responsible and ethical and moral in your life, and you do the best you can with what you have, and that's what I believe, and that's what I always preach.